Okay, let's begin. Hello, guys. Thank God for today's existence that we can move forward to our exercise. Okay, as usual, planning and control management on part 2 on how to establish or develop a new project. So usually, as usual, we will review our previous episode. That was session 11, which includes the activity resource loading second segment. And our current episode is session 12, which involves the project markup cost estimate method A. Okay, just to inform you in advance that this session may take a longer time because this is a second round of my video here, because my first video just a while ago was stopped because I didn't notice that my battery was already drained. So I'm sorry for that. Okay, let's take a quick look and review our exercise in the last episode, and we'll create a layout for the output of what we have accomplished. Okay, there we go. So let's go to Primavera P6. Now, this is our previous view showing the budgeted total cost. So we will create a layout. I think it's better to show some columns, additional columns here. Let's say, for example, we will add the columns for, all the budgets that we have induced here in our schedule. So the budget expense, budget labor, budget for the material, and for the non-labor cost. So, okay, let's go to column. This is our shortcut. Okay, and then customize, and then let's click the Control F. Then let's just type budget or buds. Okay. Okay, budget completion. We don't need this yet because we are on the process of developing. We will tackle this later also. We will go to budgeted completion, not that. Budgeted labor units. No, we need only the cost. Actually, we can put also the budgeted labor units here, but for now, we will show the cost only. Okay, here, budgeted expense cost, we'll put it here before the budgeted total cost and labor cost. And next is the material cost and the non-labor cost. Okay. Remaining and the others are not needed now because what we need to show now is only the budget for our project. Okay. Let's we'll put at the center of the column all of this. Okay. Center, and then center. Okay. Apply. So here now our window shows this. Okay. So meaning the budgeted total cost here is the sum of all the items here. So if you add expense cost, labor cost, material cost, and non-labor cost, it will come up to the budgeted total cost here. You can check it if you want. Okay, let's move the expense. We will move the material at the last one. Okay, apply. Okay. So we were done here. Always be used to save your layout so that when there is a blackout, so you're already saved. So we will save this by using this one. And this icon is the open. It looks like a book, open book. And this one is look like a TV that is saving layout, current layout. And this one is to save layout as in this in a different name. Okay, we'll use this one. Click. Okay. So we will make the presentation or the layout looks good. So we will bolden all the fonts here. So first we will start from the column header, and then the what do you call this? The time scale header. Okay. So what we need to do here, right click here in the window and then click time scale, and then you can choose 2 or 3 lines here. Anyway, never mind it. So we will click the font only, and then font, click also font, and then we will use the narrow, Arial narrow. Let's say we will put into 12. Okay. Then okay. And then apply. So, okay. Looks good. So we will now we will work on the band of the WPS, but it looks that the WPS band here is already in bold font. So that's okay. So we will what I mean, the activity fonts, we will make it bold also. So we will go here. Okay. Or you can go here to the view fonts, table font and row. Okay. Okay. But we should be used to the shortcut menu, shortcut icon. Click font and then let's say narrow bold also and make it 12. Okay. And then apply. So we're done. If you look at the row height here, it looks fine, right? The font is not really crowded on the height of the row, but if you want to widen the row, you can use this one of the same on the font and row. Here at the row height, the bottom, just remove this one, and then here you can increase or decrease the row height. Okay, but for now, as I look at it, it's good. It looks good, so leave it as is. Okay. Oh, it's widened, so we will make it a little bit. No. So we will make it 25, I think. Okay. Okay, fine. So always click save to be sure. So we're fine here. So we will go to the header. So in the header, you can use the file preview. If you want to preview the print preview of your schedule, so just file print preview. But in short, you can use this one. The icon here, it looks like a printer. Okay, with a mirror, so that's it. Okay, so we will modify the center section of the header. Okay, let's go here. Page setup. Okay, and then let's go to the header. Okay, so we will change the standard schedule. We'll change it into what? We'll change it into direct. Oh my gosh. Let's either we'll change it into direct, enter, and enter, indirect, enter, and then cost. You see? Take note of this one. When here in the header and the footer, there is an issue here when you type the letter S. I don't know why, how Primavera program has an issue like this. So every time when you type letter S, there is a time that you cannot type it, or you cannot input the letter S. So what you need to do here is just you have to go here in the add text and then just click OK, meaning you just to confirm it and then click S. Okay. Okay, and then confirm it again and then click OK and then apply. So that looks fine, direct and indirect cost. So we will go to footer. Just click this one and then at the left, we have chosen the Gantt chart legend. You can select whatever you want here, but we choose Gantt chart legend. And here at the right side, we choose the page number and the total pages. Okay. So that's easy. If you want to select any items here, just click the position your cursor here where you want to place the item, what you want to put in here, and then click here and then select in here. And then once you selected it, just click add and it will appear here. Okay. But for now, we will just leave this as is. This is fine. Okay. Okay, apply. Okay. So here you can see here the legend at the footer. You can see the legend, the critical work, and the critical LOA. There here the pages. So this is fine. So this looks good already. So what we need to do here? So we will print a copy of let's say PDF. So we can submit it for report or whatever we need for it. Give it to somebody. Okay. So what you need to do is just go here. It looks like a printer or it shows print. And then here you can select the type or type of the print that you want to or that you want. Okay. So we will choose PDF and then okay. Okay. So let's say we will sort the direct and indirect cost. Okay. And then save it. Okay. Actually, I have already saved it just a while ago, but the battery drained. So, okay. Next. Okay, we will show our output here. I mean, our PDF, we will show it in our slide. Okay. Here it is. Now, here is the schedule that we, okay, this is now. So we have already completed only for the direct and indirect cost. Okay, take note, this is not yet the conclusion of a complete project cost estimate because on top of this direct and indirect cost, there should always a markup elements that cannot be ignored to be added for its activity. That is to cover the unforeseen or missing cost. And this could be addressed by taking a reasonable percentage of the total direct and indirect cost. Like for example, we have to a markup for the overhead. The overhead mostly comprises of utility costs, stationaries, insurances, fees, and many others. The same thing with contingencies. It will make up unavoidable material wastage during construction or any unforeseen estimate errors and many others. And also for constructors' profit, the contractor must also be given a reasonable portion from the direct and indirect cost for its effort in acquiring and organizing project requirements and of course royalties. And the last is the taxes, which are almost required in every state in several forms. Okay. Okay. Our topic for this session is to demonstrate method A, project cost estimate. So our focus here is on how to estimate the project cost by method A using the Primavera P6. Okay, so method A, as we mentioned earlier in our episode, I think that was session 7. This method is to be done by adding markup cost on top of individual direct and indirect activities or resources. So the steps we have to do here is first is to establish or define a customized parameters into the user's defined field of Primavera P6. And take note, this parameter is to be designated into individual resource assignments markup cost. And secondly is to derive a formula to calculate total budgeted cost of each activity to include markup cost. And take note also that Primavera P6 global change feature will generate this formula. Okay. Okay, let me present to you first the sequence or parameters that we intend to create in Primavera P6 user-defined field. Then it will be followed by the derivation of formulas for calculating total budgeted cost with markup cost incorporated. So let's do it so that you can visualize what I am saying here. Okay. There we go. So this is about the user-defined field and global chains for project markup cost estimate using or applying the method A. Okay. Here is the user-defined field parameters for activity resource assignment. So the following parameters here will be defined in the user-defined field. And the first one is we have here A. We designate A for a short name so that it will be easy for us to do the formula. That is for A is for direct and indirect cost, and B is for the overhead, and C is for the contingency. And we have here D is the subtotal of overhead plus the contingency, and E is the subtotal of the direct and indirect cost plus the subtotal of overhead plus contingency. And F is the contractor's profit. And here G is the subtotal of the last subtotal plus the contractor's profit. And H is the value added tax. And here there is a note that we have to use the cost data type for all the parameters here. Okay. Okay, let's proceed to Primavera P6 to add these parameters or to define these parameters into the user-defined field. Okay, let's go to P6 and share. Then we will move directly to user-defined field where we can find it. So of course here in the enterprise and then user-defined field. Okay, click it. Okay, we have here. Now here in the on this area, if you click it, we have a lot of choices here for the subject. So if our subject or if our subject for our formula is activities, we have to choose activities. But for computing the markup cost, we will be using the activity resource assignments. Okay, just click it and then click add. So the first one is A. which is the direct and indirect cost. Okay. I will just remove this cost because, okay, enter. Next is B. B for overhead. The next is C for contingency. Next, we will add for D, which is B plus C. That is for the subtotal. Then click add again. Let's see, A. What is A? E is E plus D, which is also a subtotal. A plus D. Then click add. A, okay. Next is E F. F is what? Contractor's profit. Then click add. Go to G. What is G? That is E plus F. That is the subtotal. Then add. Next is what? H. That is value added tax. Value added tax. Okay. The next, I think there's none anymore. So we will review it. Direct and indirect cost. The data type, as we have mentioned a while ago, that all of them are cost because we are working on resource and for the cost of the project. So let's say A direct, B is overhead, also cost. Next is C contingency, that will be cost. And D is B plus C, that is the subtotal. And then E is A plus D, subtotal also. And then next is subcontractor's profit, okay, cost. And then G is subtotal also of A and F. Okay, done. So we have already done here. So this is the all the properties here is for the resource activity resource assignment. So we can also display this all of these items. You can display it into the window of the resource or activity resource assignment, and I will show it to you. Let's close it. Okay, here is the resource window or resource assignment window of the activity window, right, of the activity. So here we have seen here the budgeted cost. So this budgeted cost, listen carefully, this budgeted cost is comprised of the direct and indirect cost only. But now, since we are planning to add the markup elements, so this means once we add it, the budgeted cost will be increasing. So when we increase it, that means that it is the summation of all the direct and indirect, or the current direct and indirect cost plus the markup elements. Okay, let's show this. We will show the column here for the parameters of the resource. I mean the resource parameters that we defined in the user defined field. So let's right click here, then customize. Okay. Since we defined it in the user defined, so we can find it here. So we have here A, we will put it here. Okay. B, we will insert it there. And then we only need the, I think, the direct, indirect, overhead, and what else? The overhead, the contingency. D, we don't need it because it is a subtotal. E, F, we need it. And the G, we don't need it. It is a subtotal. And here, value added tax. Okay, let's put it at the center. Okay, and apply. So here, you can see that the items that we defined just a while ago or are already inserted here. Okay, we'll make it a little bit wider to okay. Okay, here, let just pay attention here. For now, the budgeted cost here is the components of direct and indirect cost. But once we run the markup cost, this will be increased. So the value here, once we run the calculation, will transfer here on A, which is the direct and indirect cost, so that we have the the reference of the original direct and indirect cost. Once this budgeted cost will change because of the additional markup cost. You get it? Because this budgeted total cost is the summation of all of this. Meaning, for now, this is 0 because we have not calculated yet for the markup cost. But once we calculate it, this area here will be populated, and the summation of the direct and indirect, or A plus B plus C, which is contingency, and F for contractor's profit, and H for taxes, will sum up to budgeted cost. Okay? So all of here are all 0 for now. And we will see later once we run the calculation. Okay, we're done. So let's proceed to a global change formula derivation. Okay, we have to derive first the formula before we will use it in the global change feature of Primavera P6. So here it is. Okay, we'll go to here. Okay, here we go, the global change formulas. So we will go one by one from A down here. Okay, From direct, overhead, contingency. Okay, let's start. Okay, A is equals to the budgeted cost here. No, the BC is equals to budgeted cost of the current direct and indirect cost. Okay, that is for the current value, while the markup cost is still not yet applied into the project schedule. Okay, next, B is the overhead. Is simply the we have our assumption here for the overhead, which is 10%. That means overhead is simply the direct and indirect cost of the activity multiplied by the percentage. Okay, and we will put it here 10%. I am doing this way because this is the really the format on the global change formula. Oh yeah, on the global change window you can see perfectly as the same columns in here. Okay, so in the contingency we have here our assumption 10%. So the same thing, direct and indirect cost multiplied by the percentage, that is the contingency. Next is the subtotal, so that is fine. Next is the subtotal of A plus D. Okay, that's fine. Next is the contractor's profit, which is equals to the last subtotal multiplied by the contractor's profit, which we assume is 10%. Okay. Okay, let's put it here. And next is the G, which is the subtotal also. Meaning G subtotal of the latest or the last subtotal plus the contractor's profit. Next is the value added tax, which is at 15%. We assume it as 15%. So we need to multiply it into the last subtotal of the project cost. Okay, and then I mean the last subtotal that is including the contractor's profit. Okay, then let's put it here, 15%, and here is the last is the new budgeted cost, which is G, the subtotal here plus the value added tax. So we have the new budgeted cost. So meaning the new budgeted cost is the summation or the summation of the direct cost plus the markup cost. So that is why the budgeted cost will becomes new, because the current budgeted cost, when we apply the markup cost, it will change. And the current, the current budgeted cost now will be shown to A as an A, and then the new will be reflected on our schedule as the budgeted total cost. Okay. What next? Okay, I think we're done. So we will extend, I think we need to extend our time here to generate this formula, all this formula to global change feature of Primavera P6, so that we can complete the whole topic in this session. Because if we will do it by segment, so we will be doing it again by the next episode. So let's finish it. Let's finish the whole topic today. So before we proceed, let's understand first the function of Primavera P6 global change feature. So global change is useful in making changes, modifying, editing, assigning project activities, properties, resources, resource assignments, expenses, values, and other elements in a selected group at one time. It can even be used for calculation as what we will be doing right now. So take note that our formula requires a global change to run the calculation only once, or otherwise, the new budgeted cost will be recalculated with the calculated markup recarried by the last calculation. Okay, so that you will understand it. Let's open our Primavera. I will go to Primavera. Okay, we can see it here. The global change is, we'll go to tools and then global change. But the short icon is here. You see the globe. You can see the globe here. So it is the icon here. So click it. So we will add our new global change formula here. So let's click new. Okay. In here, the subject area, you can see here there the three option selection, activity resource assignments, and project expenses. But we are working on activity resource assignment, so let's select this one. And then global change name, so let's name it into, I think, budgeted. Let's say budgeted total cost, and let's enclose method A. Wrong spelling. Okay. And then here is the filtering of the execution of the global change. Remember that global change feature of Primavera P6 is a bit dangerous when you don't know how to use it, or if you are careless, you will encounter a disaster on your schedule. So the best thing to do here is for you to be sure, just back up your schedule before you use the global change feature of Primavera P6. So in here, what we'll be doing here is can help a little to, I mean, it will be a little bit safer if we will filter the our formula or our global change formula here into project. So we will filter it by project here. So let's click here and then select for project, look for project here, and then we will use our project now. Assuming that we have already backed up our schedule, so we are safe. Even though it will ruin our schedule now, we still have a copy of the previous schedule. So we will look for tender. Okay, tender A. Okay, so this means every calculation of our global change formula here will affect the project, our current project only. But if you will not put it here, this might ruin all of your project in your Primavera. Okay, so here we will write down our formula here. We will arrange or organize our formula here in this area. So we will have to click add. First, we will go to A. We will find for A, which is the direct. Okay. A is for direct and indirect cost should be equal to the current budgeted cost. Okay, let's say budgeted cost. Okay. Next is B. B. That is for the overhead. Overhead is should be equal to the direct and indirect cost multiplied by a certain percentage, which is 10% that we choose it. So let's A equals to A multiplied by, use the custom area when you want to select a numeric figure, okay? So 0.10, which is equivalent to 10%. And I will go to add, we'll go to C, contingency, the same thing as in overhead. So that will be A direct and indirect cost multiplied by, I think we use also the 10% to 0.10, and then we'll add again. Next is D. D is equals to B plus C. So we'll select D, yeah, B plus C. So B will, where is B? Here. And then plus, and then here is C. Okay. Next is D, next is E. Where is E? Okay, we will, okay, just click E, and then there is E. A is equals to A plus D, which is the subtotal of E plus D. So what is it? A plus D. Okay. So we will move it a little bit longer. So then click add. Next is F. Okay, the contractor's profit. So that is also 10, I think 10%. That is contractor's profit is, what is it? E, the last subtotal multiplied by the percentage, which is 10% also. So 0.10. Next, we'll go to G. That is the subtotal of A plus F. E. Then plus F. Okay, this is it. A plus F. Now let's add more. FGH. That is the value added tax. So that is a G multiplied by, no, why it's concatenate. Let's remove it. F, G, and H. G, H. Let's add it. And then H is equals to G. The subtotal of G Okay. Why the concatenate is appearing here? A is equals to G is equal to E plus F. Value added tax. Let's delete it. I don't know why it disappears, Add. I have here FGH value added tax is equals to G. I think there is a problem in our data type. So let's close it first. I think the value added tax, the data type is not properly defined. Okay, let's close and then close. We'll go to enterprise user defined. Oh, I mean, this is in the activity resource assignment. So what is our value? You see, that is why the operator is not the a plus or minus, but because the data type here is text, so we will need to change it into cost. Okay. Okay, let's close it and then let's get back here to global change and then we will, where is it now? Budgeted total cost method A. Okay, modify. So now we will go back to here. H is equals to G multiplied by the percentage. So let's look at multiply and then how many percent do we have there? We have a 0.15. So that is why it is very important that the data type is correct because it will also give you a problem when you calculate it. Okay. So let's review. It's very important to review before you run the global change or even though not in the global change, in anything else and everything else, you have to review it first before you jump. Okay. A is direct budgeted cost. B, A multiplied by 10%. Contingency, direct multiplied by 10%. And this one is the subtotal of overhead and contingency, B and C, that's fine. And then E is the E plus D. Okay, that's fine. And contractor's profit is E multiplied by 10% as we choose in there. And then we have EG, which is what do you call this? E, the subtotal, the last subtotal plus the contractor's profit. Oh, that's fine. And then we have the value added tax, which is G plus times 0.15. So that means the budgeted total cost here is the current, which is the direct and indirect. But once we run the global change, the budgeted total cost will change or will be increased. It is because the markup cost is already added. Okay. So we are fine here. So let's, if we click change here, okay, take a look here. Our budgeted total cost here is 17,658,800. But once we run it, it will change everything. Even the labor cost will change, and the non-labor cost will also change. Material will also change. take a look on the material here, budgeted material cost. It is zero because our assumed contract shows that it is assumed that the materials, or I mean the permanent materials, will be provided by the owner. So the contractor has no cost on it, but the contractor has the temporary materials for their temporary facilities. So that is why the budgeted expense cost has the value here. And also take note, once we run the global change, it will only affect the resources because we choose the activity resource assignment and not the expenses cost. Okay. So you can see it later that this expense cost will have no changes when we run the global change. Okay. Run it. And then yes. Okay. There we go. The old value, we have no, I mean, the old value here, we have no values here for now, but now this is the new value. Okay. We have the value added tax here, and then the, everything that we defined in the user defined field, it is written here. So it started from the direct cost, and then 10% of this direct cost will give you the contingency, the overhead of 4,000, and also the contingency of 4,000 because both are 10%, and also the subtotal here. You see, 4,000 plus 4,000 will give you 8,000. And the subtotal here is 48 because we added the direct and indirect cost here plus the total of contingency and the overhead. And the same thing to the value added tax, okay? So we need to commit the changes to affect the calculation. Okay, commit changes. We don't need the data. So I mean the log data. So, or I mean the log file, we don't need it. So just click no. Okay, it is already calculated. So what happened? The budgeted total cost doesn't change. Why? Oh my God. We forgot to include the budgeted total cost here. Okay, modify. Okay. Actually, we need to, oh my God, we made a mistake. We have to repeat this again. We should have added the budgeted cost here, which is equals to G plus H. Because if we will rerun the schedule again, it will ruin the data or the schedule. So what do you think we need to do here? Oh, okay. I think the budgeted cost was not affected because it doesn't calculate the formula yet because we didn't put the formula here, so we can add it there. Budgeted cost is equals to uh, G, and then plus the H. Okay, I think we need to, we are good to go for it because there is no calculation here before we run the global change because we didn't, we didn't apply the formula here. So that means the budgeted total cost is still the same. Okay, that's fine. So there is no changes here. So if the budgeted cost is the same, of course, the overhead will be the same and everything here will be the same. So let's run again, change it, and yes, and then let's commit the changes, and then no, okay. So we have here our calculation. So we need to confirm this if this is really correct or not. Uh, you can do it by manual or whatever accuracy check that we need to do here. But for now, we will assume this as the our procedure is correct. Our of course our data or our output is also correct. Okay, so but don't dare to run again the schedule, the global the calculation, because I said it will ruin your schedule because if you look at the formula here, the budgeted cost is not, if you run this again, the budgeted cost here is not the original budgeted cost anymore because the original budgeted cost is inherited by the A, and the new budgeted cost here already is the markup cost is already added. So don't dare to run the formula again. Okay. Okay, let's close it and then close. Next, we are done here. So what is our next? So we have seen here the result. As you can see here, the expense cost has no changes, right? Only the labor, non-labor, material cost has the changes. Okay. Now, if you sum up this one, so it will confirm that this one is correct. And then if you look at our window here, our activity resource assignment window here, before this was 0, right? But now it is populated and the budgeted cost changes to a higher value. And the budgeted cost before transfers here. So meaning the direct and the indirect cost original is already here, which is previously it was here because there is no markup cost added. Okay, so this is the original direct and indirect cost. If you add it to the overhead cost, which is 10%, so the 10% of 60,000 is 6,000, 10% contingency, 6,000, and contractor's profit. So what you need to do here is to add all of this multiplied by 10%. How much? Okay, just check it by yourself because I trusted Primavera. And the contractor's profit, if you sum up all of these multiplied by the percentage that we have selected, which is 10%, so you will come up to this, and the value added tax. So you have to sum up all of this and then multiplied by how much is our value added tax, 15%. So multiply this summary by 10%, it will give you this amount or value. And then if you sum up everything, it will give you the budgeted total, the budgeted cost total. Okay. I think it's enough for today, and some explanations for this one will be done by the next episode because we have already spent a longer time here. Okay, so let's save it. And then, okay, our next episode will be this one. Next episode is part 2, session 13, is the same topic, project markup cost estimate by method B or method B. And thank you. See you for the next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And let me tell you again. Besides method A and B, there is one more method on how to calculate the generate the estimate for the project, and we will see it later. Okay. End of session, and God bless to all, and goodbye. Amen.